Om. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Mavit Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamaya Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahmavidaram. Okay, just requesting everyone to keep your video on so I can see you. All right. Today we're going to talk about essay number 12. And this essay is entitled Making Peace with Yourself by John Deere. So sometimes we get into phases where we feel so many things are going on, especially like nowadays, so many things are going on. And there is that want to be able to go out there and do something. And there's that want to be able to contribute in some way, to make a difference. And there's that want to get change, to make change happen. And this is a good want. To make a difference, to bring about a positive change is a good want. But sometimes what we find with many of our peacemakers is that they want to make peace, but inside there's so much war. You want to win the battles outside, but inside there are so many battles. So sometimes what we'll find is these very workers of peace or for peace go out there, but they feel disgruntled, they feel despair, they feel exhausted, they feel disturbed inside because things are not working out to the way they think it should work out. And so when they are working for peace, but coming out of a sense of a lot of disturbance, that peace cannot express outside. And so you will find people out there, and some of whom I know are giving, are doing, but inside they're just so tired. They're just so exhausted. And it defeats the purpose of wanting peace if we ourselves aren't at peace. And so our Shastra always points the finger back at us. We can only create peace if we ourselves are at peace. If we're coming from a sense of so much anxiety and fear and hurt and wanting to harm, that cannot be expressed as peace. Even if we want to peacefully say something, it will not come out as peace because inside there is war. And we have seen this in the Mahabharata, where we have people like Bhishma and Drona are there who want to strive for justice, who want to strive to bring about peace and dharma in the society, but inside themselves there's a war because they want to fight for dharma, but yet they're siding with adharma. So whenever we have a battle within us, we cannot fight any battle without us. That's the rule of life. So sometimes we find that people aren't being able to lead effectively. They're not being able to guide effectively. Why is that? Because we ourselves are conflicted. We ourselves are confused. So because we ourselves are conflicted, confused, we're in between, that message in our minds is not clear. Therefore, that message outside will definitely not be clear. So today, in this essay, we're going to focus about making peace first here and cleaning up that battle here so that I can then face greater battles in my life. And we will see here in John Deere's essay, he even talks about his friend, who was an activist, who was fighting for, the rights of homeless people. And he went on fasts. He did so many things, but at the end of the day, he himself committed suicide. And that makes you wonder, when people who are fighting such great causes, why also do they have that inner trauma? Because we haven't cleaned ourselves up. That's why. So now, what is the first step in making peace with ourselves, cleaning ourselves up? The first step is acceptance. And this often is the hardest step. Because, as I have mentioned before, we are afraid to be alone with ourselves. We are afraid to be without technology, without some pravachan going on, some music, some friend to chat with. We are afraid to be without noise. And because we're afraid to be without noise, we don't meet ourselves eye to eye. And it's only when we meet ourselves eye to eye, we can examine who we are, what our strengths are, what our weaknesses are, what mistakes have we made, where are we on the path? Are we still walking towards the path? What is it that we need to change? We are afraid to face ourselves and examine. But it's only with this step of examining that we can learn to accept ourselves for everything, for all the weaknesses, all the mistakes, all the mishaps, everything. The first step to making peace with ourselves is just pure acceptance. This is who I have come to be. Maybe it's not exactly who I want to be, but that's okay. At least now I know this is who I've come to be. This is what my life is right now. This is what happened. And once we can fully accept ourselves for who we are, we can go further. Because the biggest mistake we make is, one of the Swamijis pointed out beautifully, is we judge our future by who we are at present. Why? Who we can be so magnificent, can be so infinite, can be so wonderful. Why are we using now as a reference point? That because I am who I am now, I can only grow this much. Never judge who you can be by what you are. What you are is very different. And when we learn to clean ourselves up, we can be so much more. So the first step to making peace is accepting. And that acceptance will only come with solitude. It will not come otherwise. Otherwise, we will pass our lives by just like that, not knowing who we are. We will forget to meet this very person. Now, after accepting ourselves, it can be very painful because this bundle might have done so much, gone through so much. What do we do? The next step after acceptance is forgiveness. And we've talked about forgiving other people, but this is about forgiving ourselves. We made some mistakes. We didn't live our lives as we wanted. Maybe we wasted some time. Maybe we went into certain wrong fields. Maybe we had wrong company, whatever. Whatever mistakes we've made in our lives, make peace with that. It happened and it's okay. Now, how will that heavy burden be lifted? Because it's such a heavy burden. How can you lift that heavy burden of past regrets, of past mistakes? That only happens out of sincerity. You see, when is it easy to forgive a person? It's easy to forgive a person when you see they're sincere. When you see that they're trying to make a change, you want to forgive that person because you say that this person is trying, they're doing. So why unnecessarily taunt them? In the same way, when you and I are sincere on the path and we start to sincerely make a change, we can forgive ourselves. It becomes easier because you see that you're sincerely trying. It's not that you made a mistake, you let it go and you're just letting it be like, oh, it's okay, it's in the past. It doesn't work like that. When you and I sincerely start to put things into action and change, that forgiveness happens. And we are able to make peace with ourselves through forgiveness. So the first step is acceptance. The second step is forgiveness. Now, what happens when we are able to forgive the self? We are able to forgive ourselves. We feel a sense of self-love and self-respect, which otherwise we don't have. We always wonder, why is it that other people doubt us? How come people don't respect us? How come people don't love us? It's because we don't love ourselves. We don't respect ourselves, and because we doubt ourselves. And all of this happens because we're not sincere on the path. So when we forgive, because we are sincere, we make peace with ourselves. And we come to a certain level where we feel good. We feel that we are living life honestly and sincerely. Now, is this enough? No. The third step now of making peace with ourselves is to further expand. Now we've reached a sense of stability. We're inside, there's not many battles that we're fighting now because we're trying. And I'm not going to say that everything is going to be perfect. I'm going to say that still there might be some uneasiness in there. Still there might be that struggle, but it will be dramatically less because we will have more of a control of what we're doing. So the third way to make peace with ourselves is expand. Because now we know we can give. We have the ability to share. We have the ability to grow. But not doing that, that will also cause disturbance. We have something, we have that potential, but we're not using it. We have that ability, we have that talent, but we're not using it. That will cause a lot of disturbance. So the third one is to expand. And this we've seen also before, is to find a field where I can express my abilities, my talent, my gifts further. Because definitely it will give us a sense of peace when we are able to express our potential. But when we keep our potential locked up and hiding inside, we will feel guilty for having it but not being able to share it. We will feel like we are wasting something. We are wasting whatever we've been given. So the third step is to expand. And once we expand further, we are able to make peace with ourselves. Then what happens as a result of that? The next step, step 4. So first is accept, second step, forgive, third step, expand. Now the fourth step is to inquire. Inquire deeply into this world. Inquire about why we're here, what we're doing, what this all means, and what the purpose of my life is really. The mind will not sit until it's able to go deep. And when I'm able to inquire deeply into the scriptures, spend some time in satsang, spend some time answering these questions of life, I will find peace. Otherwise, I won't. I may be expanding and growing further, but still something inside me will sting. What is all this for? Is there more to this? What is the end of this path? What is the end goal? That will sting me at that point. And if I don't inquire further, I won't find that peace. Now we've inquired further. We've gotten into the scriptures. We've read. We've learned. We've listened. We've reflected. Will we then be able to make peace with ourselves? The answer is no. The answer is no. We accept, we forgive, we expand, we inquire. The last step is to be. Only when we be who we really are, we will be able to make peace with ourselves, because we will realize that we are already an epitome of peace. You see, who is the realized master? Very beautifully in Atma Buddha, this verse is given. A wise person or a realized person is like a lamp which is placed in a pot. What do you mean by this lamp placed within a pot? The lamp placed within a pot, that lamp alone knows its own light. And that lamp alone is very content, reveling in its own light. Similarly, when we reach the state of realization, we become this light that is just reveling in its own peace. It doesn't even feel the need to tell people we are peaceful. You know, in these stages of inquiry and expansion and inquiry, we feel the need to demonstrate that we are peaceful people. We feel the need to look peaceful. We feel the need to tell everybody, I am very, very peaceful in my life. I have a very, very happy life. No. This realized master is brimming in their own light. Whether people know they are peaceful or don't know, it just doesn't matter to them, because they are reveling in their own light. And how bright that light is, how wonderful that light is, only they know, nobody else knows. And they're content with only themselves knowing. And they themselves become that peace. Because that peace that they experience now is not at the level of the mind. That peace is when they are free of their mind. That is only when we will be able to make peace with ourselves. When we are beyond this mind. You see, all of the steps that I've told you is only to cultivate sattva further, cultivate a sattvic mind further. But as we grow in the spiritual path, we will realize that this mind, after all, is a mind. Although as we grow, as we become deeper, that mind will be predominantly sattvic. It will be. But there will be times where it will be rajasic. There will be times where it will be tamasic. There will be times where it will have beautiful, wonderful thoughts. There are times where God knows what thought will come. And so the absolute peace is when we are free of that very mind itself. That is when we make peace with ourselves. When it's not even making peace with yourself, because you become that peace. And then that expression of that person will indeed be very peaceful. There is peace within. That expression of peace will come without. It won't be like what you see of these social workers who are working, giving, but inside exhausted, inside going through so much hardships, inside going through all their battles. They're giving, but inside they're hurting. It won't be like that. This one will be giving, and inside very balanced, very grounded. That is what it means to make peace with oneself. So what have we spoken about today? A lot of these concepts we have taken. So I'm just highlighting those which are new, a little bit new to us and from different standpoints. So the first we saw was acceptance. First point, acceptance. That ability to spend time with ourselves. Because if we don't, we will never get this sense of acceptance. It will just not happen. Don't miss that meeting with yourself. It's a brilliant meeting to have. I'm telling you that. Because I do that and I know how much change it makes. In fact, it makes even more of a change than reading so many scriptures. It really does, because you're wanting to put things into action then. Second is forgiveness. That after I've accepted myself, I'm forgiving because I'm sincere. The third is I expand then. Because if I keep my potential, my gifts to myself, it will create a lot of restlessness. I will feel the need to do, the need to give, that it will just come. It will just come. So that will give me peace. After I expand, still I'll get a little bit of like, oh, now what else is there? Then inquire. And that process of inquiry, that will give me peace. But it will still give me that, when do I get to the end? Then, when we get to realize our nature is peace, then only we will truly have